Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. According to reports, Iranian hackers are launching sophisticated cyber attacks on hospitals and healthcare organizations. But the joke's on them because our healthcare system is so busted that nobody noticed.
Detractors on CNN are saying that Trump had no authorization for this war, but he actually did. Netanyahu said it was okay. I can't believe our leader could just attack Iran with no vote, no permission from Congress or anything. I mean, what is this, Iran?
In other big news this week, Israel and Hamas committed to their version of dry January. President Biden said that the Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks were one of the toughest negotiations he had ever experienced. The hardest part was convincing both sides that he was still the president.
There is growing confusion over whether Israel being allowed to continue bombing Lebanon was part of the ceasefire with Iran. Ultimately, that decision comes down to the man controlling our military, Benjamin Netanyahu.
This attack might be a bad idea. I don't know. I'm not really an expert on Iran. So let's hear from someone who can explain why we might have done it.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Yeah. See, now that's the Trump I voted for.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, seen here demoting a black general, said this week that an airman told him the only thing they need in Iran is bigger bombs. Got you covered. How about Kristi Noem's husband?
The White House also announced that Vice President J.D. Vance will travel to the Vatican for Pope Leo's inaugural Mass. And I'm not a huge fan of his outfit.
Earlier tonight, J.D. Vance announced that the U.S. and Iran have ended negotiations without a deal after talking for 21 hours straight. And guys, I think they're done for real based on how his mascara's running.
J.D. Vance is releasing a book about his conversion to Catholicism. The Catholic Church is calling it somehow the worst publicity we've ever had.
Vice President J.D. Vance criticized protesters confronting ICE officers, saying they should instead write an op-ed or argue about it on social media. You know, just like these young scholars did on January 6th.
President Trump defended the actions of ICE agents in Minneapolis, adding that the day of reckoning and retribution is coming, which is a phrase he stole from that guy who's always pointing at him.
A rash has appeared on President Trump's neck, which is just above his collar. Apparently, someone accidentally washed his shirt in holy water. After imposing tariffs on Mexico and Canada on Tuesday, President Trump reversed them on Thursday. It's a cunning political tactic experts call bipolar disorder. President Trump said the tariff on goods from Canada is to stop the flow of fentanyl, even though last year only 40 pounds of the drug was seized at the northern border. 40 pounds? What's that, like 2 buttfuls?
America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed. It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was also Trump.
President Trump called off his proposed tariffs on European countries who opposed his desire to acquire Greenland. Trump backed down after consulting his most trusted advisor, the Stocks app. Due to the government shutdown, SNAP food benefits ran out of funds today, but the government still provides needy families with free food through the Second Amendment.
The Supreme
I worked
Court,
really hard on that.
Yeah, that was good. The Supreme Court on Friday temporarily allowed the Trump administration to withhold SNAP benefits, including food stamps. And we actually have footage of Trump finding out he does not have to pay the benefits.
The bill ending the government shutdown will fund SNAP through next September. And thank God, because I was this close to donating food. President Trump attended a Washington Commanders game on Sunday, and I guess he hasn't been to one in a while because he showed up in redskin.
President Trump has been inviting world leaders to join his board of peace or be crushed by his council of destruction. Trump's board of peace consists of countries such as Russia and Saudi Arabia, which is like if Law and Order SVU starred Diddy.
President Trump claimed that one of the reasons the government shut down is because Democrats want transgender for everybody, which is obviously not true. But at the same time, I wouldn't say no to my own set of these.
It was announced that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have reached a settlement in their divorce, and I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that she maybe had an easier time finding a good lawyer.
President Trump said that he will only negotiate with Democrats when they agree to reopen the government, adding that he will not be extorted. Except that one time he famously got extorted by that mattress actress Stormy Daniels.
Donald Trump released his official inaugural portrait, and the photo was lit, I assume, by hell opening up. Trump is trying to look so hardcore in this photo, I'm surprised he didn't add a parental advisory sticker and a do-rag. And then Trump also released the official portrait of J.D. Vance.
The Archdiocese of New York announced that it will set up a $300 million fund for victims of sex abuse. The church encourages victims to claim the money by sticking their hand in this here hole.
Officials in London announced that they will create a new national police force that's being called the British FBI. It will be run by the British equivalent of Kash Patel, Mr. Bean.
Yesterday, Kamala Harris said she is thinking about running for president again. And I like her chances as long as she finally grows that penis. Kamala Harris has released a new book that explains how she lost the 2024 election. It's called I'm a Black Lady.
Pantone announced that their color of the year is Cloud Dancer, which they call a billowy, balanced white imbued with a feeling of serenity, a description they stole from my old Bumble profile.
Netflix is producing a sequel to the 1990s Cosby Show spinoff, A Different World, about students at an HBCU, which of course stands for Help! Bill Cosby's Undressing!
This week, America continued the delicate, sensitive debate over who will play this guy in the Netflix miniseries. After police arrested suspected CEO shooter Luigi Mangione, they found a note on him expressing anger at corporate America. Yet, he went to Starbucks before the shooting and then was caught at McDonald's. So perhaps his greatest crime was hypocrisy.
And finally, a new documentary that analyzed Adolf Hitler's DNA shows he suffered from a disease which leads to lower testosterone levels, undescended testicles, and a micropenis, traits inherited by his secret grandson.
Really hard to tell a joke now. A United Airlines pilot went into the captain to hug a passenger who had donated bone marrow to him, while a pilot on Spirit stole a sleeping passenger's kidney.
New York York City police say that they were able to get the smiling picture of the suspect after the man apparently was caught on camera at a local hostel flirting with a female employee whose name has been reported as Lucky S. Betchalive. A weird dude, man. A judge has ruled that Luigi Mangione will not face the death penalty unless he has a pre-existing condition. Luigi Mangione has been placed in the same federal prison as Sean Combs said Combs, Christmas came early.
To punish them for snitching. First of all, who looks at Yelp reviews of McDonald's? The only Yelp review of McDonald's should be, was open 5 stars. Everyone who went to high school with the alleged shooter said they were shocked that he could become an assassin, whereas everyone I went to high school with was shocked I didn't. Campaign finance records show that in the last 6 months, the super PACs behind Donald Trump spent $50 million on Trump's legal fees. And that's with the cheapest, worst lawyers on the planet. Can you imagine spending $50 million on the people who just lost you $83 million? I mean, this lawyer did such a bad job in court, I thought her actual name was Overruled Shutdown.
Whoa! It was announced that Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are separating after 19 years of marriage. I am saddened and shocked that a guy named Keith Urban isn't black. Chimpanzee researcher Jane Goodall has died at the age of 91. The family requests that in lieu of sending flowers, please throw feces.
Okay. Health officials are reporting a surge in winter vomiting disease, which is better known as SantaCon.
Arby's announced that they are adding a new item to their menu, steak nuggets. Although you can make your own steak nuggets by eating a bunch of Arby's.
A high school cheer coach was arrested on charges that she had sex with a male student. Said the coach, "Give me a D."
Newly released video of a deposition to New York's Attorney General's office shows former President Trump taking a fifth hundreds of times. Also taking a fifth, his lawyer.
For the first time ever, 2 brothers will be facing off against each other in the Super Bowl. Incidentally, 2 brothers in the Super Bowl is why my grandfather won't be watching.
My favorite moments randomly in hosting the show was I saw a what was it? What do they call them? Do they call them a truth social? That like fake Twitter that no one, even the right wingers aren't on really? A truth, right? I don't know what it is. Anyway. A what? No, it's called Truth Social, I think. No one cares. Anyway, the point is Trump sent out one of his thingies, I don't know what they're called, and it was like, Trevor Noah was never funny, Jon Stewart was only slightly better, and then like he goes on like a rant and he's just like, these people don't realize if they moved more to the center like me, they would have more followers. Then I'm like, center like you? I'm like, my man, you think you're in the middle? But what was funny was like someone was like, oh, he said that you're not funny, and I was like, yeah, I read that, but I was like, oh, so you were watching.
Meanwhile, Fox News was already shifting into damage control. Late night hosts were running clips, headlines were stacking up, and there was only one way to contain the wildfire: spin, spin, spin. Suddenly, the story wasn't about Trump and Melania's robotic public appearances, but about Hollywood elites attacking a good, hardworking couple. There were monologues about unfair treatment, talk of fake news, and carefully curated guest panels featuring relationship experts who all just happened to think Trump and Melania were the gold standard of marriage. It was less news and more a glorified public relations stunt designed to drown out the laughter and push a new, more flattering narrative.
Yes. Did you fall in love then?
It was a connection. Mm-hmm. It was a connection.
Mm-hmm. You said our chemistry was undeniable. Our connection felt natural. In private, he revealed himself as a gentleman, displaying tenderness and thoughtfulness.
But while Trump was ranting and Fox was scrambling, Melania was nowhere to be found. No statements, no comments, no forced public outings, just silence. And that silence was deafening. Because while Trump thrives on attention, Melania's greatest power move has always been her ability to completely remove herself from the chaos. She doesn't argue. She doesn't correct the record. She just disappears. And in doing so, she leaves Trump flailing, trying to prove something that she won't even acknowledge. Social media was quick to pick up on it. Speculation ran wild. Was she rolling her eyes behind the scenes? Booking a one-way ticket to Slovenia? Did she even know about the meltdown, or was she too busy ignoring the latest headline like she's ignored every awkward hand-holding attempt? The world had questions, but Melania wasn't offering answers.
The answer is yes. On behalf of our wonderful First Lady, Melania, and myself, the answer is yes, and we look forward to being there and honoring the King and honoring really your country. Your country is a fantastic country, and it'll be our honor to be there.
And that, more than anything, made Trump's furious defense look even more ridiculous. Because let's face it, if you have to scream from the rooftops that your marriage is perfect, it probably isn't. And no matter how many posts Trump fired off or how many TV segments Fox News lined up, one thing remained clear. Trevor Noah had struck a nerve. Not just with the joke, but with the truth underneath it. And now all Trump could do was flail, shout, and try to control a story that was already running away from him. If there's one thing the internet loves more than a juicy scandal, it's mercilessly roasting it into oblivion. The moment Trevor Noah set Trump and Melania's marriage ablaze, Twitter, X, transformed into a battlefield of memes, hashtags, and absolute comedic carnage.
Now, the reason I've been thinking about Melania lately is because in the wake of Trump's recent immigration crackdown, I've started to notice something that's got me really concerned. I think Donald Trump is trying to deport Melania. No, and you might be asking, why would he want to deport his wife? I don't know, but things haven't exactly been perfect between them. First of all, it's no secret that Melania barely spends any time at the White House. Secondly, when he tried to hold her hand in public, she tried to slap it away.
Within minutes, Sheshtat Shang helped Melania, Sen Xiaoban Trump marriage truthers, and the ever-reliable Shanshan Free Melania were trending like wildfire. Users flooded the timeline with GIFs of Melania's infamous hand swats, AI-generated images of her running full speed toward an escape jet, and edited clips of Trump talking to an empty chair, insisting that his wife totally loves him, folks. Late-night hosts wasted no time pouncing on the chaos. Jimmy Kimmel chuckled his way through a monologue about how Melania's side-eye deserves its own seat at the United Nations. Colbert suggested she's been communicating in Morse code blinks for years, while SNL prepped a full sketch featuring an actress playing a holographic version of Melania. Because, let's be honest, we haven't seen her in ages. And the public? Completely unfazed. At this point, Trump's over-the-top reactions are as predictable as a Hallmark movie ending. But that doesn't stop the internet from doing what it does best, turning a political firestorm into the funniest thing you'll see all week.
I feel like Trump would be exactly the same even if he spoke Arabic. It would be like the same thing. He'd be like,
The fallout is inevitable, and the world is watching. Trump responding to Trevor's joke is as certain as the sun rising. The only question is how dramatic it'll be. Will he fire off a caps lock meltdown on Truth Social, accusing late-night hosts of being part of a deep state comedy coup? Or maybe he'll sit down for a primetime interview, passionately insisting that his marriage is stronger than ever, while Melania stares off into the distance, counting down the minutes until her next solo vacation. Meanwhile, the real question remains: what is Melania thinking? Is she secretly packing her designer bags, dreaming of a peaceful life far away from political chaos? Or is she just nodding in exhaustion, knowing that defending this marriage is above her pay grade? And let's not forget, Trevor may have just unleashed a comedy arms race. Now that the floodgates are open, will late-night hosts take it up a notch? Will Kimmel dedicate an entire segment to decoding Melania's body language? Will Colbert create a State of the Union Trump Marriage Edition skit? One thing is certain. This is just the beginning, and the late night roast session is far from over.